Do you want to absorb real English while getting entertained? Instead of sitting through boring grammar lessons, how about learning English the way native speakers actually use it? When you enjoy a story, your brain picks up patterns without even trying. That's what this channel is all about, learning through real, engaging stories. If that sounds good to you, take a second to subscribe and turn on the bell. You'll get fresh English learning stories every single day. Now let's dive into today's wild little tale from the tallest building on Earth. Leo had never been so high in his life. He was standing inside the Burj Khalifa, staring out of a glass wall that showed the entire city of Dubai like a toy set. The roads looked like thin lines. Cars looked like tiny bugs. Even the sea seemed closer to the clouds than to the ground. This was his first time in the Middle East. He had traveled alone, again, just like he had done in Rome and Barcelona. But this trip was something special. He had always wanted to visit Dubai, the buildings, the malls, the food, the sand, and of course the Burj Khalifa. He had booked a standard ticket to the main observation deck. It wasn't the highest one, but it was still beyond anything he had ever experienced. After walking around, taking photos, and even buying a souvenir coin, Leo decided to explore a bit more. He wasn't ready to go back down yet. He wandered around a corner and noticed an elevator in a less crowded part of the building. It was sleek, modern, and not marked the same way as the others. There was a button that simply said Upper Access. No other numbers, no floor labels. Just that. Leo looked around. No one seemed to be watching. His curiosity took over. He stepped inside and pressed the button. The doors closed silently, and he felt the gentle lift of the elevator as it began to move. The ride felt smoother than the one before. And it went higher, definitely higher. After a moment, the elevator stopped. The doors opened, and Leo stepped into something he didn't expect. The floor was empty, not just quiet, but truly unused. No lights on, no people, just silence. The space was large and clean but completely without furniture or decoration. He had clearly arrived on a floor not meant for visitors. He stepped out carefully. The glass windows still offered a view, but the floor felt colder, the air slightly dusty, and there was a strange echo when he moved. It wasn't creepy exactly, but definitely not tourist-friendly. Leo walked to the nearest window. The view was even better than before. He could see the desert stretching far into the distance, and tiny islands made to look like maps floating in the water. But something told him he shouldn't be there. He turned around, ready to return to the elevator. That's when he noticed the doors were closed again, and there was no button on the wall outside. He walked over quickly. No handle, no keycard slot. Just a flat panel with a tiny light that wasn't glowing. He tapped it. Nothing. He waited. Still nothing. Panic didn't hit him right away. At first, he just felt confused. Maybe the elevator was on another floor. Maybe it would come back if he waited. But 5 minutes passed, then 10. The silence around him grew heavier. He started to feel like he had made a mistake. His phone had signal, luckily. But instead of calling for help right away, Leo opened the building's website. He tried to find a map or some kind of floor plan. Nothing mentioned this level. Then he thought, maybe he could call the reception desk. But he didn't know the number. The only contact he had was the general hotel line. He wasn't even staying at the Burj, his hotel was across town. He decided not to panic. Not yet. Instead, he started walking slowly along the edge of the floor. There had to be another way down, some service stairs, maybe another elevator. The space was large but not endless. He checked each wall, each corner. Still nothing. Just when he was about to give up, he saw a door slightly open near the far end of the floor. He walked toward it. Inside was a narrow hallway dimly lit. It looked like a maintenance area, with pipes and electrical panels. He followed the hallway and after a few turns, found a small metal staircase. It looked like the emergency kind you see in movies. Not fancy, but solid. Leo took a deep breath and started going down. The staircase didn't go all the way to the bottom. After several floors, he reached a level where lights were on and voices could be heard. He pushed open another door and stepped into a staff lounge. A few workers looked surprised to see him. Leo raised a hand awkwardly, smiled, and pointed to the elevator behind them. One of them laughed, said something in Arabic, and guided him toward it. This time, the elevator was clearly marked for staff. But it worked. It took him down safely to the public level. Back on solid ground, Leo laughed to himself. No one else seemed to know what had happened. Tourists were still lining up to buy tickets, security was relaxed, and the sun was shining as if nothing had gone wrong. He walked out of the tower and sat at a nearby fountain. He drank water, stretched his legs, and looked back up at the skyscraper that had nearly locked him inside one of its quietest levels. He didn't tell anyone what had happened. Not the staff, not the people at his hotel, not even his family when he called that night. It became his secret adventure. Later, when he looked at his photos from the trip, he smiled at the shots from the top. And he thought about that silent, empty floor. How strange it was, how beautiful, and how lucky he had been to find his way back. You just learn naturally. The way language is meant to be learned. You didn't study grammar. You didn't memorize rules. But guess what? You just learned tons of real, useful English by simply following a good story. That's how powerful this method is. And we're just getting started. If you want to keep learning like this every day, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Share this video with a friend who's learning English. And drop a comment below. What would you have done if the elevator took you to a hidden floor in a skyscraper? Your story might end up in a future video. See you in tomorrow's adventure.